We are live.
Hi guys.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
And I'm Hayley.
and this is the Speed Mooting Partners in Crime podcast, episode 82.
82.
Been recording quite a while now, haven't we, Hayley?
Yep.
Yeah, and we've had quite a bit go on recently that we're no doubt going to talk about in this episode.
Of course.
But, of course, to start the episode, we need to name it. So, for those who are new to the podcast, we like to name our episodes. Well, I say we.
John likes to name the episodes.
I'm not even saying I ever do. I started naming a few, and then it's kind of just something that we do now, isn't it?
No, it's like this big chore every time we're recording. Oh God, I need to think of names.
I think what we'll do is we'll get as far as episode 99, and I think we'll call it quits there.
Okay.
Let's get the first 99 under the belt.
Okay. If you're a long time listener, comment below if the names can go or if you really want them to stay.
Yeah, let us know. Do you like this part or don't you? So far, we've had one person troll us about it, so we're guessing the general consensus is it's not liked, but hey ho.
No, I think everyone loves it.
No, everyone loves that part, don't they? And I'm sure we're going to see a flood of comments from people saying, keep the naming. But anyway, I'll keep this part short. So we're on episode 82. There's no Formula One driver with number 82.
Okay.
So I thought, let's, the next obvious thing is WWE, isn't it?
Of course.
So I searched for wrestlers born 1982. This guy you will get, but I'll give you some hints. Trying to think how I'll give you hints about this guy.
Is he a current wrestler?
He's a current wrestler.
Okay.
You definitely know him. He was at the event that we attended. And the only other clue I can give you is he was referenced in my wedding speech.
Oh, of course.
So I'll say his name. You can finish the catchphrase.
Well, you should say the sentence that came out your wedding speech. If you
Okay,
remember.
yeah. So just to give you some context, so Hayley and I got married recently, and no doubt we'll talk about this in the episode. But in my wedding speech, and I get towards the end, I'm talking about Hayley, and one of the things I said is there's not many girls out there that would name all of the tables at their wedding after Formula One circuits, nor are there many girls that can finish the catchphrase L.A. Night.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're naming this episode 82, after L.A. Night.
Yeah.
You can't say his name without finishing the catchphrase, yeah. So just to give you some context, he's a wrestler called L.A. Knight, and his catchphrase is L.A. Night.
Yeah.
Right,
we're not doing that anymore. That's done, okay?
It's like if someone says autoglass replay, you got to say autoglass replace, haven't you? It's one of them.
So when we went to watch this it was in Liverpool, wasn't it?
It was in
Liverpool.
Last year before last, I reckon.
Year before last. And we were on this row with this dad and his two young boys, and they were just screaming the whole way through. So when LA Knight was fighting, it was yeah, when he was punching people, and all those two little kids.
Oh, they loved it, didn't they?
It was so funny.
Yeah.
What's his name? The tribal chief guy.
So Roman Reigns is the tribal chief.
Yeah, but it was so they're there going, Solo Sikoa, you are not my tribal chief. These two little Scouse boys.
I love how you know who Solo Sikoa is.
It's only because of that night. It was cute, but after 2 hours of it right down your ear, it was tricky.
Yeah.
But you're going to watch wrestling live. What do you expect?
What do you expect? You've got to be part of the show. So anyway, welcome to episode 82. The LA Night special.
Welcome.
I thought you were going to say yeah. Right. Anyway, we've waited several minutes talking about this. No doubt we'll get trolled in a minute on the comments, but hey ho, let's move on.
Okay.
So we've got a lot to talk about. A lot of law coming up, but of course, this is one for our regular listeners. Those who know us know that this podcast was formerly hosted by John Dove and Hayley Crumblehome. But not anymore.
Not anymore.
Hayley Crumblehome doesn't exist anymore, does she?
Who is that girl?
Who is she? Never heard of her. What's your new name, Hayley?
Hayley Dove.
Hayley Dove. So we've got a brand new host.
So weird.
It's strange, isn't it?
So bizarre.
It's weird, like tagging you in on anything on LinkedIn. It's like, oh, just Hayley. One syllable.
Yeah, I keep looking for my old name and like, oh, it's not there. It's gone. So our loyal listeners, you will know we got married on the 10th of October.
Yeah.
So we batch record the podcast episodes now, don't we? So the last batch recording was coming up
It was the
during
week
the wedding.
before,
So
wasn't
we
it?
were
Yeah.
recording this, talking to you as if this is going to be released on our wedding day. But for us, that was a week before the wedding, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
And I think there's been one episode since then as well,
There has,
actually.
yeah, there has.
So this when this episode comes out, this will be 2 weeks post wedding.
Yeah. Gosh.
Wow, time's flown, hasn't it?
But this is the first time you're hearing from us in real life
Yeah.
post wedding.
So we thought let's start by giving you an update anyway. So it was a good day, wasn't it, Hayley?
It was the best.
It was so
day.
good. I mean, you know, we put, well, I say you put a lot into the planning of that.
Yes.
And we knew it was going to be good, but my God, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
No, it sounds cheesy, but people say, oh, well, it's the best day of your life and it goes really quickly and enjoy every moment. And that was all really, like, that was true. The next day we woke up and were like, could we just do that whole thing again? Like, it was just absolutely perfect, wasn't it?
It was.
I had 8 bridesmaids, so we had to get up and start getting ready at 6:30 in the morning for a 1:30 ceremony. We just made it. Just made it on time. I
had 6 groomsmen.
6 groomsmen.
So we went for breakfast at the Premier Inn early in the morning.
Your morning was a bit more chilled than mine.
Mine was a bit more chilled. It was 11 o'clock, go to the room, get my suit on. So yeah, it was nice and chilled for us. We were there in the bar doing line dancing at 11 in the morning. Not even drunk.
No.
You know, our lad, we weren't even drunk. It was long story behind it, but yeah, 6 lads doing line dance. And then off to the church from there. So we got dropped off and just had to wait for you, didn't I?
Yeah, and it was beautiful. So we had our service in the Catholic church, and we wanted everything in the church to be really classical, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, really traditional. So I had quite a traditional gown on, didn't I?
Yeah.
It wasn't what I asked John when we went out for like one of our last dates. I was like, "What do you think it's gonna be like?" And you were like, "I don't know, maybe plain, straight up and down, like sweetheart neckline." And it couldn't have been further. It was
couldn't have been any further.
No, chantilly lace, ball gown, sleeves. It was. People keep saying to me it was like the dress that
Princess Kate
wore, and I was like, really? And then when I look back and I go, oh, I can see it actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the church, we had a violinist,
soprano,
an organist, soprano, singer. It was
it was something, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
And we had our Ave Maria song at the end, didn't we?
Yeah, the soprano singer. I'm so glad we had we didn't get a videographer because just how expensive they were. But we did have a content creator because, you know, we're down with the kids. We have content creators. But she got so much footage of the day, and I'm so glad she did because I didn't even really take in the Ave Maria singer.
No.
Like, I remember looking back at one point being, oh gosh, yeah, she's singing. But me and you were just gabbing and giggling away, weren't we, at the front of the church? So we missed a lot of it. So I was really grateful for all that footage that she got for us. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the church was very classical, very traditional. And then we went to Elton Golf Club and we partied. Hard.
We had a DJ and a saxophonist. So before that, our entrance for the meal. So we had
Free from
Desire by Gala. And people have to, you know, wave the napkins. And because we come in on like the beat drop, it's nearly a minute in.
Mm-hmm.
So people are there waving the napkins for a minute. And we come in and the place just exploded, didn't it?
Yeah.
Such good fun.
It was incredible.
Great meal. Award-winning chef over there, isn't he?
Yes.
And then the evening just popped off. You know, it was everyone had glow sticks and the dance floor just didn't stop all night, did it?
Yeah. So our first dance was Set You Free so we used the slow version by Sam Ryder, and then about 2 minutes in, it cut to the Clubland classic version, and then everyone just stormed the dance floor with these glow sticks. It was epic.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And we had so we had like a full dance choreographed as well. And so within the dance there was I had to do a lift.
Yep.
There were a number of twirls and there was a dip. Was there another big move in there as well?
Dip, the lean.
The lean, yeah. And so we were just thinking we just need to hit our marks, hit our points. And it came off, didn't it? Yeah, we did it really well.
The bit I was most nervous about was the lift because obviously John didn't know anything about my dress. I knew it was a ball gown. I knew it was really heavy. And all I could think was, oh, he's not going to be able to lift me because the dress is too big. And I kept saying to him when we were practicing, we should have a backup lift or something to do. And you were like, no, I'll lift you. And I was like, oh. And then when you finally like saw the dress, you were like, oh, and I was like, this is what I've been saying to you.
Yeah.
But luckily, when you go off to do your couples shoots, we said, can we practice this lift? So we got some really nice pictures doing it
Yeah, we
outside,
did. Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
we? But we got to practice it, and he could lift me, and that was like one of my favorite moments because it was all nice and slow. And then when he lifted me up, the audience,
Yeah.
you know, friends and family, but the audience all went berserk
They
for us,
did,
and it
didn't
was
they?
just
Yeah.
like, I can't even remember much of the dance after that because it was just
No, I
like
can't. Yeah.
elated to have been able to get that
Yeah.
lift.
Yeah. Just a brilliant day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was
And
amazing.
it was interesting because so we pretty much took a week or so off afterwards. So we went to a log cabin with a hot tub for a few days. We had a spa day at the hotel we stayed in the night of, and then just had a few days at home doing nothing. And that's the first time in a long time we've literally switched off. I mean, when we
Yeah.
go on holiday, you know, we're on holiday, but you know, we're always online. We're checking emails, we're responding to things, we're doing this, we're doing posts, etc. That's the first time we've literally gone, do you know what? We're doing a week of not. There's an auto reply on every single way that people can contact us, and we are offline.
Yeah.
And
I think
so
because we were on such a high from the wedding, like it's all we talked about for days and days and days.
yeah,
Work didn't even cross your mind.
no.
So you really could switch off.
I mean, it was literally. I mean, we went days without even talking speed mooting because
Yeah.
we literally talk about speed mooting
We
all
live
the
and
time.
breathe
We live and
speed
breathe
mooting.
speed mooting. So for us to not even talk about it for a couple of days, that was impressive for us. So it was just a nice time just to completely switch off and
Yeah.
just a break, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, but we're back now,
Yep. And
fully recharged and fully ready to go, aren't we?
yes, yes, we are. It took a few days. I've never felt like a
No?
bit sluggish with work before, but yeah, it took a couple of days to get into it again.
Yeah, because even me, you know, getting back to court this week,
Yeah.
you know, that was quite strange as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been dropped in with some busy days and some big cases as well.
Yes.
So yeah, it's
But yeah, it's really funny because we have such a, well, I was going to say such a big following. That sounds a bit big-headed, doesn't it? But,
yeah,
you know, we have a large audience that follows us and has been following us right from when we got engaged last November. So when we got engaged last November, we announced it on LinkedIn, like a case summary, didn't we?
yeah.
So it was like Dove v Crumble Home. What did it exactly did it say?
Can't remember the exact wording of it,
It
but it
was
was
something like I've examined the evidence and
good prospects.
it's got great prospects and it's going to be a life sentence, and
Yeah.
then we're engaged. And it went like really viral, didn't it? It was so
Yeah.
popular. So we were like, we've got to redo this with the wedding now. So it was Dove v Crumble Home, and it was judgment, happily ever after.
Oh
And
no, it's the parties have agreed to carefully
no,
negotiate.
but it said judgment.
Oh, judgment.
happily ever
Sorry. Yeah.
after. And then it said after a careful negotiation process, the
Yeah.
parties have agreed the judgment, and it's being enforced by marriage. No appeals are allowed. And then some wedding pictures, and again, it went quite viral to the point where it got picked up by Legal Cheek. So Legal Cheek did an article about our wedding and the post, and we've had some really nice feedback. I say it's viral all over. But we've also been trolled.
Yeah, been trolled.
We've been trolled quite
the
brutally.
bottom half of Legal Cheek. Yeah.
Once it went up there, John said, "Oh, I can't wait to see the comments," because it's one of those sites, isn't it? Legal Cheek, Roll on Friday, and stuff. The articles are great, but you just go right to the comments.
The comments are brilliant on there.
Because
you know,
it's an anonymous comments, isn't it? So people can say whatever. So there's been some nice ones like, "Oh, this is really lovely. I love seeing it makes a difference." Or something like really positive be out there. And then there's the trolls, which is things like, "This is cringy. This is excruciating."
Yeah.
And oh, it's a good job we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Oh, it really is. It really is. And
It's
if you are that
so
person
funny.
that found it cringy, get ready to see more cringy content.
Sorry about
Strap
you.
in. We're going nowhere.
Sorry about you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I can't wait to see what more come up on there.
Oh yeah. But anyway, that was a good way of sharing the news, wasn't it? And I think the
Yes.
photos we shared on that post were quite nice as well, because
Yeah.
a good one of us, you know, looking happy outside the church. The one of the mural behind the altar, that's just there's a mural of the Last Supper, and it just looks incredible, doesn't it?
Oh,
And
yeah.
in that photo, you got that. You've got the altar that's well dressed. You've got Father Terence, and then us two sat at the front. It's just a brilliant photo.
The church is so beautiful. I mean, it's not technically it's not our local church,
No.
even though it's about the same distance away
Yeah.
as the church that should be our church, isn't it? But we went to a Christmas service there years and years ago, long before John had even proposed. And as we left that church, I said to you, didn't I? And I said, "This is the church we're getting married in."
Yeah.
Like, I knew. It was so beautiful. I couldn't imagine my wedding anywhere else.
No, not at all. It was at the perfect venue for it, wasn't it?
Yeah. And everyone was saying to us on the day, "Oh my God, that church." So if you're curious, St. Anthony of Padua
In Mossley Hill.
in Mossley Hill, check it out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that the point about the legal cheek article just brings us on nicely to a segment we were going to talk about,
Yeah.
which is all about building your online personal brand.
Mm.
If you want to, I mean, the legal profession is, it doesn't, you don't need to have a personal
No.
brand. And I'm sure some old school lawyers would probably say you shouldn't have a, big personal brand because maybe some clients won't like to look online and find all kinds about you. But more often than not, you are seeing people emerging with a real strong personal brand, aren't you?
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of people on there, legal influencers, I suppose they're calling them. But I suppose it does help, and there's nothing wrong with building that brand
No, I don't
from
think
an
so.
early stage. So, I mean, certainly from my practice, occasionally I'll get a client, obviously with Speed Moves, and I don't use it to promote myself at all. I don't use it to promote, sort of legal services or anything like that. But some clients who say, "Oh, I've seen you did this," and people like what I do there, so it just gives me a bit of a brand, a bit of a personality there.
Yeah.
And you're seeing other people do that, and I think that they are getting ahead in their careers by doing so.
Mm-hmm.
If one of those people who are legal influencers, they put an application in somewhere, they're known already. Before the
Yes.
CV's even read, they're well known.
Yeah.
So it's a really good way of self promotion and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I suppose the only flip side is if you're putting things out there that not everybody agrees with, or, if you're being opinionated or, using
yeah,
it to say things that not everyone's going to accept your views. Some places might look at that and go, "Oh, that's a bit risky."
yeah,
But for the most part, I think it is a really, really good thing.
yeah.
And I was given this advice to our community hub audience very recently about some tips on how to grow your own brand. And from me, I think, as John says, we share and promote a lot with Speed Mooting. But the personal side of things, what always seems to get the most traction is, saying something honest and personal.
Yeah.
So, from using me for an example, the most viral post I had was one I posted recently about the Scouse accent
Yeah.
and, about staying true to yourself and not changing your accent to, get ahead in the legal industry, and that you don't have to do that anymore.
Mm.
And that was really, really popular.
Yeah.
Once again, the wedding and the engagement posts, they are really, really popular. So it's great being online and, sharing articles, sharing commentary and things like that. Some of those stuff like that does get traction sometimes, but if you're one voice of, 100 other people saying the same thing, sometimes what helps to set you apart is if you do something that showcases who you are as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. On a personal level, the one that went the most viral for me was when I'd been at the bar for a year and I talked about my journey, my struggle to get there. It was quite an honest post actually, because if you've not heard my story, it's 11 years from finishing legal studies to making it to the bar, and I talked about that. Talked about how proud I was to get there and everything I did in the meantime, and I think people really appreciated that, and seen as a bit of a, I don't know, motivational post, because I know that there's so many people out there who are struggling to make it to the bar. So that was another good way of, getting some personality out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, so it's a good way of just promoting yourself.
Yeah.
And once again, come back to it, but, building that brand, giving yourself some brand equity.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the best places to build an online personal brand is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's one of our strongest places, isn't it, where we connect with people. And I think some more tips for people if you are trying to grow your own personal brand is to utilize the connections that LinkedIn gives you. So every week you can, I don't know how many it is, but I know it refreshes every week.
Yeah.
You can connect with loads more people. So connect with people that are at the same level as you, that are before, like earlier than you are today, or that people that are, a lot more senior than you. You
Yeah.
can connect. Like on LinkedIn, people are generally there
Yeah.
to connect. So it's very rare that people don't
Yeah, it's very
accept
rare, yeah.
your connection. So that's a good way, the more people that see you, the more people that are gonna
Yeah.
engage with you. And also it works both ways, I think. So you engage with other people. So if you see a personal post or a post that you think is really insightful, like it, comment on it, and then the more you do that, people remember, oh, John Dove, he said something really nice about me.
Yeah.
And then when they see a post of yours, they might be more inclined to like, engage, and comment with you. So
Yeah.
it's a two-way street, I
Yeah.
think.
And I think the point you're making there is it's good for networking
Mhm.
because obviously, connect with people as well who are in the position you want to be in.
Yep.
So, if you want to be a criminal barrister, connect with those sorts of people. You want to be a commercial solicitor, connect with those. You want to be, a Silex, connect with people in that position. And then what you might find as well is that when you then go to like in-person networking events, you might end up meeting people who you connected with on LinkedIn, and straight away you've already got that connection. It's very easy to break the ice, make a conversation. The number of times I go to events and I have people that turn around to me and say, oh yeah, we're connected on LinkedIn. Oh, I commented on this. I sent you this message, whatever. Good icebreaker. And then you're in there.
Mhm.
And then, because half the battle when you're trying to break into the profession is trying to get experiences, whether it's minis, vac schemes, work experiences, etc.
Yeah.
You're halfway there. It's easier to then ask for that thing if you sort of know the person already. You've got that connection. So it's a really, really good networking tool.
Yeah.
So it's a good way of, as we say, just get some information out there. And as you say, Hayley, it's not for everyone. You don't
No.
have to. Some people might not have the confidence to do so, might not want to, might be more private. Fine, not a problem. We're not saying it's the only way, but what we're saying is it's just an option for you to
Mhm.
to build yourself up.
Yeah. I remember one of the old school partners I worked with many, many years ago. He was on LinkedIn, but I think like I sent him a connection request, and then the next day in the office he was like, "Why are you trying to connect with me on LinkedIn?" And he was like, "Well, that's what we do." And he was like, "Oh no, no, I don't believe in that. I don't connect with any colleagues, anyone that like I'm friends with. I only use it for business. Only clients, potential clients. None of that other nonsense." He was very adamant, like, don't be connecting with me on LinkedIn.
Oh, fine.
I think he's probably one in the minority with that way of thinking, but to each their own.
To each their own. I mean, I can see his logic, and fair enough, but I don't really see what the problem with that would be. But yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose he wants to keep his feed nice and clean. He must have nothing in his feed.
No, it was just client stuff.
Or
That's
just
because for him it was just a channel of business. So it was that people in the sectors that he was interested in or target. So he only seen things that would help him
yeah,
from a business point of view. So he didn't want to see what his colleagues were doing or what his firm was doing. He just wanted to see potential clients.
fine,
So it was BD only for him.
fair
That's
enough.
what he used it
To
for.
be fair, it's kind of like me because I was very late to the game when it comes to social media. So I started in 2013. I set up a Twitter account. It was literally because I think someone had mentioned this to me. I think I'd been for an interview, and I was probably getting similar advice to what we're getting here. Said, oh, you need to keep up with what's going on. Twitter's very good for laws. A lot of big names on there, so get on there. So I thought, yeah, same thing. Let's get on Twitter. Let's see what people are talking about and all the rest of it. And part of the reason I was so slow to the social media game is because when Facebook first came out, it was people going, "Oh, I'm putting the kettle on. I'm making a cup of tea. I'm putting some toast in the toaster." And I thought, I'm not really interested. I don't want to know if you're making yourself some jam on toast or something.
Yeah.
So that's why I was very slow to the game.
I've got to be honest. So I was on Facebook probably as soon as because everyone was getting on it, weren't they? So I was like, oh, so I was on it probably really quickly.
Mm.
And you see your memories on Facebook, don't you? And I see things like there will have been something this morning from like 19 years ago, and it was like, oh, I love Mondays, not. I had like one like comment, one like or something. So I was definitely one of those people that you were like, I don't care. Like I would have been me. But it was different back then. You weren't doing it like there wasn't such a like culture or a comment culture. You were just doing
Yeah.
it because you thought it was cool. You didn't sit there and go, "Oh, I've only got one like. Should I take that down?"
Yeah.
You didn't care. Like
And I think it was probably very different because when it first came out, it was a good way of connecting, and particularly, school friends, distant family. It was a good way of getting them together. And then over time, it's changed, and it's you've
yeah,
got all your adverts on Facebook now, and people use it to promote things and what have you. So I suppose the game's moved on a little bit from what it was.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just very slow, and then slowly but surely ended up on everything. Very rarely, apart from LinkedIn, I very rarely post on anything, do I?
And now you're probably like a legal influencer yourself.
How things have come full circle. So for example, just before this recording session, I did a little thing. Took a photo of each of us. Oh yeah, we're back and recording the session. And there's probably someone there going, "I don't care, John."
Yeah, there will be. Yeah.
Yeah, so
The
it's
trolls.
it's funny how life comes full circle. But yeah, trolls. I mean, trolls keep us entertained, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, moral of the story and bringing this back around 360, it's okay and it's really good in this day and age to have an online presence and to show your personality online. I would just caveat that with saying I mean, be careful. It's because some people do feel very passionately about things and they want to use their platform to talk about them. And if that's you, we'd never tell
yeah,
people what you can and can't say online. But I know for a fact, like when I was at law firms and stuff, law firms do like a media search of you and they see what you're talking about
yeah,
online. So if someone sees something and goes, "Oh, I don't like the way they were saying that or doing that," there's it could harm you if you're not careful what you're putting online. So be yourself and use it as the great platform that it is, but just think about, as John says, you could be saying things now that in 10 years' time you'll be embarrassed about.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you just got to think. When you're putting something online, think. In 5, 10 years time, if an employer saw this, what would they think about it?
Yeah.
And so I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Hayley. If you're passionate about something, fine. Share it on there. But just think twice about what you're putting on the internet
Hmm.
because it's there forever.
Yeah.
This video is brought to you by Speed Mooting. We are an organisation that help aspiring and junior lawyers. We run online and in-person advocacy and mooting competitions. We do online advocacy and public speaking training, and we run lots of other events to assist people on their legal journey. To learn more, visit our website, speedmooting.com.
There we go.
Right, Hayley, do we have any questions this week?
We do, but I think we were going to talk about the update on that case first, John.
That we were. So, there was a recent judgment, and we spoke about this several weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
Case of Mazur, and it was all about the right to conduct litigation.
Yeah, it caused quite a stir.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this. We were laughing, weren't we? So when I first started talking about that case, and I tried to introduce it, and I don't know whether I got a bit of brain freeze or something. The way I said Mazur was a case in which there was a lawsuit, and it just made me think of the episode of The Inbetweeners where they're trying to buy alcohol. So they send Will into the shop and he's got a hat on and all this, and he goes, "I am a man having a party." It just made me think about that. The
Is
way,
Will the geeky one?
yeah.
Yeah. I think if you had to be one of the in-betweeners, it would be Will,
Do you
wouldn't
reckon? I probably would.
Yeah.
Because every now and again he has his little outburst, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I think it's got to be the walk,
I've got the walk as well. Wow.
You've got a swagger walk, haven't you?
Yeah. To be fair, I noticed that I was watching something back of myself. I was like, yeah, I've got a bit of a swag, haven't I? But yeah, no, I would agree. I probably would be Will out of any of them.
Well, yeah. Anyway, back to the case.
Anyway, back to this. We're not talking about the in-betweeners. So long and short, Mazur, it's all about rights to conduct litigation, and we won't go through the ins and outs of this case, but long and short, there were unqualified people who were running full cases, and the parties were not particularly happy about that, were they? So this judgment deals to a point with the rights to conduct litigation, which are set out under the Legal Services Act 2007. Now, off the back of this, there's been a lot of talk throughout the legal industry, throughout the various sectors, about individuals' right to conduct litigation and who can do what effectively.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, particularly those qualified through Silex, are particularly concerned about what they can and can't do. Now, as a result, the Law Society has provided some guidance, hasn't it? Or it's provided a practice note anyway.
Yeah.
And given a little bit more guidance.
I don't think it actually is more guidance though, John. I think you're being kind there.
Yeah, I think I am.
Because
Well,
when I read it, I was like, it's just kind of a, as you were, like, basically, like, that's the point, like, what I read from it. They're essentially saying this just upholds the way it always has been under the Legal Services Act.
yeah, I'd say, well, yeah, duh. Because this case was an interpretation of the Legal Services Act.
Yeah. So it's, it's just basically saying, isn't it? you can, and I suppose it is helpful in a way that it recaps, because what I was saying when we talked about this in the podcast is, what does it mean for paralegals and case
Yeah.
handlers? Because back when I was a paralegal, you used to run a caseload, but you were supervised by an authorised person, a solicitor. You had mandates, so when this happens, you can issue the claim. When this happens, you do this and this
Yeah.
and this. So there was always trigger points, and the decision making was always overseen by an authorised person.
Yeah.
And from what the guidance says, I mean, please check with the SRA, and we are not giving
We
legal
are not
advice.
giving legal advice whatsoever.
But from my interpretation, that practice is still okay. So you
Yeah.
can still, you can have paralegals and you can have case handlers that are assisting with the conduct of litigation. It just, when it gets to physically conducting the litigation, aka signing the particulars of claim and issuing the claim, needs to be done by an authorised person.
Yeah.
Is that your
yeah, I mean, that's
interpretation?
the way I interpreted it, because what they said is that under the Legal Services Act, the definition of litigation is very narrow in
Yeah.
its scope. And what they've said is that, things that are just, as you say, assisting or part of the day-to-day are fine, as long as, you're supervised and the case is run by somebody. And they give examples of what can be done. So I think they said things, once again, not legal advice, so don't take my word for this. Follow the SRA guidance, read the Legal Services Act. However, they say things along the lines of, you can take witness statements, you can, I think there was drafting of documents,
Yeah.
other
You can
examples.
draft, you can assist with advice, and
General legal advice can be given as well. It says, however, what would have been interesting, I think, would have been for them to have given a definition of what constitutes the
yeah,
conduct of
absolutely.
litigation. So I thought it was interesting that was
missing.
not included,
Yes.
not included, because that would obviously be a lot more helpful. It's great to say, yeah, you can do this, but it's more important for those who are not qualified. What can't you do?
Yeah, you want to know that you're not doing what you're not authorised to do. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I can still do all that. Is that falling under that, or is that tripping over to conducting litigation? I think that's probably
Yeah.
what's needed. And it might be in the Legal Services Act, I've got to be honest. I've not read that statute for a long, long time, so it might be in there.
Yeah.
Where we're just going off this short practice note that we
practice note.
happen to come
What's
across.
interesting is, because obviously barristers can get litigation rights now. It's been over the past 10, 15 years or so. I think barristers have been able to get a litigation practicing certificate. The Bar Standards Board haven't really said anything about this, have they? Because obviously we're hearing from, the SILEX regulators, the SRA, the Law Society, etc. I've not seen that. I mean, they might have done, and I've just missed it.
No, I
But-
haven't seen anything. But
I mean,
isn't
to
it
be
the case
fair-
that, I mean, you might know this more than me, but you have to, everyone knows, like, you have to have an additional step as a barrister to conduct litigation, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose
So it's quite,
yeah.
it's still quite clear that you can't do that without having that additional authorization.
It is to a point, but you have employed barristers, don't you? So I suppose, say if you've got barristers who are employed by law firms, they might work on cases anyway.
That's interesting.
So, because, barristers have been employed by law firms for much longer than they've been able to have litigation rights. So,
So there could be some.
so as you say, it's probably going to be very limited in scope, and I imagine most barristers that do casework
Yes.
probably have litigation rights on their
Yeah.
practicing certificate anyway. And it's so, and most barristers that are doing that are probably those that do direct access work and the
Yeah.
likes. But even still, it does happen when you get barristers that do casework in addition to their advocacy. So
Yeah, I think in general the new guidance is helpful. I think if I was a paralegal now working in litigation, I'd be a bit, okay.
Yeah.
It is okay actually.
yeah, as long as you're wearing a fire handler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can you still? I think you can still. Could you still be a file handler as long as you're being supervised?
I suppose you could though, because if you think about it, I mean, I've never been a fire handler, but I don't know whether fire handlers, let's say if a fire handler was going to issue a claim, for example, would they sign the claim form themselves or would they give it to like a supervising solicitor? I don't know.
Yeah. So when I was a case handler, that is what we did. So it was volume litigation,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. You didn't physically sign the
Got ya.
particulars of claim.
Yeah, yeah.
You did run the caseload, and this is what I was saying. So there's a mandate as such. So mine was like mortgage repossession. So it has to trigger all these certain points. So like no contact from the customer. All these letters have to have been sent. And you have to have proof that they were sent.
Yeah.
Customer hasn't responded. The arrears are this high. Then you can draft and issue the claim, but you didn't physically sign it. So and everything was overseen by a team leader.
Right, I see. Yeah.
So I think that it's okay under the new guidance.
Okay.
Maybe check with the SRA.
Maybe, yeah. And once again, but it comes back to, let's say you are unqualified and you're a fire handler. Are you then making strategic decisions in the case? Because that seems to be what Mazur was talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah, but is it a decision if it's not? That's not me sitting there going, this person, it's time to issue. That's me going, tick 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 tick. Yeah, this mandate
no. That
has been met.
example,
so you're not making the decision, are you? Because you're just following a mandate that's been set to you by an authorized person.
Yeah.
But whether you have to go one step further and take it to them and go, here it is, can I issue it?
Yeah, I think what I'm thinking about. So with volume work, I suppose it's fairly straightforward. But I suppose, let's say you were doing something that was non-standard, and you're making decisions. Do we need this type of expert on the case? Right, we need to get them instructed. You're making strategic decisions there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which is another. Once again, we're not advising on this one way or the other, but it's just something else, another thing to think about.
Yeah, I think the gap in, and it's obviously because this is the SRA, it doesn't address the Silex profession, I guess, which is where a lot of the upset stemmed from, didn't it? And someone got in touch with us on TikTok, actually.
Oh, right.
And it was a really good, well thought out comment saying, isn't it quite obvious that, just the way you'd expect, a solicitor to be authorised, a Silex needs to be authorised as well to do the work they do. And I said, yeah, absolutely. You want your professional to be qualified. The reason for the upset, my understanding for the main reason for the upset is that this now contradicts what guidance has been given to Silex professional body people in the past.
Yeah.
Because people are coming out saying we're on this training course, or look at this note, it says here you can do X, Y, and Z, and now you're telling us we can't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it still needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
How does this impact Silex people?
Yeah.
Or if it's the same, that, well, it's the way it's always supposed to have been, then how was contradicting information given to people?
I think the question needs to be answered. Do those under Silex, do they have full litigation rights or not?
Yeah. And if they don't, then why have they been told previously that they did? So yeah, it's a really, really interesting case. I'm sure there'll be more to come from it. But I think in terms of law firms, solicitors, paralegals, guidance has now been given that probably makes people feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, if anyone has any more questions about Mazur and the fallout, feel free to send them in and we'll answer if we can.
Yeah, probably referring you to the SRA. Yeah, we are very, very clear. Nothing on this podcast can constitute legal advice.
No way.
Could you imagine? Well, on this podcast, Hayley and John says.
Yeah. It's not going into court and citing us. No, we're not citing the SRA guides. John and Hayley.
Oh, gosh.
Funny.
Right, it's a time for Ask Speed Squad.
I think it is. Do we have a question, Hayley?
Yes. While I get it, do you want to just tell our audience how they get questions to us, John?
So this is the segment of the show where we answer your questions. If you have any questions, different ways you can get in touch. Drop us an email, info@speedmooting.com. You can direct message Hayley or I on LinkedIn and Instagram or wherever you can find us. We're on pretty much any social media platform. Speed Mooting itself is on all the social media platforms, so drop us a message there or drop us a comment on one of the shows and we'll answer your comment. Always try and use the hashtag if you're commenting, hashtag askspeedsquad.
A lot easier to type than it is to say.
Yeah.
Okay, question. So this was a question on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it's for you, John.
Oh. No pressure.
No pressure. How do you manage to keep a busy criminal practice whilst working on speed mooting as well? Is there the ability generally to have passion projects on the side?
The simple answer is sat in that chair over there. The reality is speed mooting wouldn't be what it is if Hayley wasn't working on it. There's a lot of negatives in that sentence. Long and short, what I'm saying is for speed mooting to be what it is, we need Hayley there. So something of this size, I could not run alongside a busy criminal practice. Now, I did in my early days at the bar, I was running speed mooting whilst Hayley was still in full-time employment. Um, Speed mooting wasn't as big as it was back then, and also Hayley was assisting from time to time.
Yeah.
But it's only become what it is and to this size since Hayley's joined speed mooting full-time
Hmm.
18 months ago. Can you have a side passion project whilst you're at the bar? Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, the criminal at the criminal bar, you are going to be very busy. There's going to be times where you are up the wall and you just, for example, when I've got busy trials and particularly when it's something that's new to me. For example, when I did that human rights trial, it was 3 weeks long. Every night was coming home, doing more research, doing work on it, etc. So there's going to be times when you just got absolutely no spare time.
Hmm.
But equally, you get more other weeks that are relatively stable, and you finish work by 6, 7 o'clock of an evening, and your time is your own. So you probably could run something at the same time, just nothing on this scale because it would be physically impossible.
Yeah. If there's something, as you say, that's a flexible side passion, then that's great, because when periods at work get really busy, you can put it on the back burner a little bit and then
Yeah,
pick it back up when things are quieter. I think where it gets difficult, and this is where what was happening with speed mooting, wasn't it, when it was snowballing into a much bigger thing, when it turns into a full-time job by itself,
yeah,
it's really hard to manage that alongside
yeah,
a full-time job. And that's pretty much where we got to, didn't we? And it was frustrating because there was more we wanted to do, and we knew there was more we could do with speed mooting, but we physically couldn't do any more. So we got to the point where it was either scale speed mooting back, or we need to give our full time
yeah,
to this. So it was natural that I was one that took the leap, wasn't it? Because life at the bar, you have more control and more flexibility over that
absolutely.
anyway.
Yeah,
So when speed mooting gets particularly busy, like the Northern Pupillage Fair week, for example, you could take on less
yeah,
work at the bar that week. You
yeah,
can you could do that, couldn't you? If you plan it far enough in advance, you can say, well,
yeah,
I don't want to go to court on the day before the pupillage fair. You can do that, where full-time employed work is a lot harder. You don't have that flexibility unless you want to use all your annual leave. So it was the choice of, okay, I'm going to step away from private practice and see where this goes. And luckily there's, in-house legal counsel, so I'm still a practicing solicitor. So we knew the safety net was there. If it didn't work as a full-time business, I could go back
yeah.
into practice. But safe to say it's worked as a
It's
full-time
worked.
business. Yeah. So we've never looked back, because we love and are so passionate about
Oh, we are.
speed mooting, aren't we? But yeah, that's probably a bit of an answer without answering, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it depends what the side passion is, I
yeah. I think it
guess,
depends, and
and how much you want it.
if you look online, there are criminal barristers out there with side projects, things that they run. A lot of barristers get involved with things that they are particularly passionate about, and you find a lot of or I say a lot. There are people at the criminal bar who get involved with various social justice projects and things of that nature. Even people who take on roles within their bar association committee and things
Hmm.
like that. That must take up a lot of their time. I don't,
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't have the time with running this and speed mooting to get involved with anything like that. And I can imagine it must take up a lot. So yeah, so I mean, if there's something that you're particularly passionate about, you probably could do
Hmm.
it. But just be aware that, the criminal bar, it's very busy, and particularly in the early years, where you're taking on so many things, if you're doing lists in the prosecution list in the magistrates court, they're quite lengthy. You'll be doing lots of cases in a single day.
Yeah.
You'll probably find you're bouncing around from court to court. You're doing lots of little mini hearings here and there. So you will be very, very busy in your first few years at the criminal bar.
Hmm.
So just always bear that in mind. And what you'll find is that as you progress, as you start to take on bigger cases, then you've got more, a bigger case, but fewer of them, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So that you might find that you have more time as time goes on.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, it's very similar over if you want to do something and you are employed as well. In the early days of being employed, and probably right throughout, the workloads can be really heavy and really intense. So you have to always, prioritize your own well-being as well. Don't take on too much that's going
Yeah.
to lead to burnout. But if there is something that you're really passionate about, and I mean, I know from my time in law firms, people used to, have positions on charities, or the school trusts and stuff. People did have other
Mm.
positions and other passion projects that they did run. So it can be done, especially if you've got, a supportive employer
Yeah.
that fully, is in the loop with what you are doing. And I think, but just bear in mind as well, some employees, some employment contracts might prohibit you from doing too much on the side, or from, having a
Yeah.
big income on the side. You probably have to declare things, and it brings up a whole other whole other spiel of things to think about. So it's definitely possible. Just think carefully about it, and don't take on too much, because that's where we got dangerously close to that, didn't we?
We really did. We did.
Yeah.
But great question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Well, I think that brings us towards the end. We've been recording for quite some time now, Hayley.
It was supposed to be a short one.
Yeah, we were going to do a short one, and this has been longer than the last few, I think.
Oh, no.
But anyway, just leaves me to say thank you very much for listening. Hayley, have you enjoyed recording?
I've enjoyed recording it, John.
I've enjoyed recording this one. I hope you have all enjoyed listening. And if you are still listening at this time, drop us a comment below.
It's got to be wedding.
Oh yeah, let's go wedding then. Yeah,
Of course.
Drop us that comment. Wedding. See you next time.
Bye,
Cheerio.
guys.
Bye bye.